Okay, who's ready for round 2 of our journey amongst the creepypasta? Our first story begins with an online discussion between a group of strangers recalling an old children's TV show titled Cove. The conversation started with someone asking if anyone else has heard of this strange children's show, Cove. The show was described as having a main character, Janice, who befriends a group of pirates in their boat that has a big face at the front, which is really weird. Starting out like any other sad group of 90s kids, reflecting on their past, the things being recalled about the show begin to take a dark turn. As the group begins describing the puppets in more detail, bizarre and unsettling features begin to arise, such as the puppets' actual physical appearances and their odd behaviors. One person was even able to recall an episode in which the puppets only twitched and screamed the entire time. Almost as if being reminded of a past traumatic event, one by one, people would agree and recall their own memories. The thread ends with one of the members reaching out to his mother to see if she remembered the show. According to the post, the man's mother said she did remember him mentioning going to watch the show, only to sit down in front of the static-filled TV for the whole 30 minutes. The story of GOATMAN is told in a forum by a boy named Anansi. The story takes place when Anansi, who is 16 years old, and a group of teens are staying in a cabin overnight. Although the kids were around the same age, the group was an amalgamation of friends, cousins, and neighbors, and not everyone in the group knew each other that well. After experiencing a strange odor described as like ozone, people started feeling strange, including a girl vomiting. After this event, someone notices that their 12-person group has suddenly turned into an 11-person group. The realization that another person, not known by anyone after discussion, had been amongst them the entire time. The Native American legend of the GOATMAN is brought up, describing a beast with the head of a goat that is able to shapeshift into different forms. At this point, some people understandably peace out, while others want to find out what's really going on. Being late to the group, a boy meets a girl in the woods while trying to find his friends. When he arrives, he explains how he met the girl. She would not speak to him and followed him throughout the woods until one time he turned around and she was completely gone. After some time, the smell of blood and singed hair filled the cabin. A voice speaking English, but obviously not coming from a person, can be heard outside saying, "Let me the fuck in, stop playing around." After many hours of no activity, people begin to fall asleep, except for one boy who was watching the door. He was pretending to sleep, and after a while the boy witnessed someone who did not enter the bathroom exit the bathroom and fall asleep amongst the rest of them. Being terrified, the boy says nothing, while one by one everyone begins to wake up and eagerly leave the cabin. The boy eventually tells the group about the chilling event and said that moments ago a girl simply stopped walking and allowed the group to continue on. Okay, so we saved the best for last, and by best we mean most horrifying. The Russian sleep experiments took place in the 1940s. A group of 5 political prisoners were used to test the effectiveness of a new gas which would be used to keep the men awake for 15 days. All was well and good with the men up until the 5th day. On the 5th day, the men began acting paranoid, becoming reclusive and speaking to no one. On day 9, one of the men completely snapped and screamed until he tore his vocal cords. After that, the men stopped talking into their microphones and the secluded room fell silent. After some time, the order was given to forcefully open the room door, revealing a vile scene. The men, if they could still call them this, had covered the room in their own feces, were naked, and had endured severe self-inflicted wounds. One of the men had injured himself to the degree where his internal organs were exposed. A struggle took place, killing some of the guards along with the experimentees. One last man was able to be restrained, begging the doctors to turn the gas back on. He explained how if he were to fall asleep, he would die. Being unable to stay awake due to the days of not sleeping, the man was able to get one last phrase out before he died. The man's chilling statement was, "We are you. We are the madness that lurks within you all, begging to be free every moment in your deepest animal mind. We are who you hide from in your beds at night. We are what you sedate into silence and paralysis when you go to the nocturnal haven where we cannot tread.